What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, Carved Up Vegan Muscle. And a few people have asked me if I had any intentions on cutting weight for upcoming competitions that I was doing. And I've kind of hinted around that I had some stuff going on and that I would be cutting. And the answer to the cutting part, at least, is yes. I do have several competitions that I'm preparing for this summer that I will be sharing more details with you guys about in the upcoming months. But in the meantime, I am going to be cutting some weight, and I kind of wanted to talk about that and talk about approaches that I'm going to be using and why I have mixed feelings about it. And here's the thing. I'll start off. I'll show you guys just a few photos, few pictures of where I'm at. Here is a kind of obligatory bathroom selfie coming up. That was just from this morning. I knew I was going to do this video, and I kind of wanted to see what exactly I look like. Here is some kind of flexing photos from just a few minutes ago. There's one relaxed where I'm, not really flexing or anything, just kind of relaxed, standing there, not really posed. Here's, I don't remember what they call these poses. I'm not a bodybuilder. I build my body for the purpose of being stronger, but the goal isn't to just look big and strong. I actually want to be big and strong. Here's a picture of my back, probably one of my best features. Here's a rear double bicep shot. You kind of see, like, in my lower waist there where I'm kind of holding a lot of weight. My arms, of course, there's some, as I get leaner, they'll kind of pop out and look a little bit bigger than they are there. They'll actually, probably be smaller, but they might appear to be larger because as the fat goes down, you'll see the indentations in the muscles. And that's it. So, I have some mixed feelings about it. One of the downsides of it is that, I'm interested in strength sports because I want to be strong. And not that you can't continue to be strong or that you can't be lean and strong. Certainly you can. There's some great lifters that I look up to that I'll share in a little bit that are pretty lean. They stay relatively lean throughout the year. But a lot of the guys that I look up to are not. They're about where I'm at right now. They're not really any. I mean, they're much bigger than I am, but they're not any leaner than I am. They're just, and that's kind of what they've used. They've ate their way there, and I've kind of gotten my best results from that. I enjoy eating, so I like eating. So the kind of some of the things I've shared in the past is the number one way to cut weight, to cut fat, is to reduce your calories, to reduce your caloric intake. I think one of the downsides that people get into in terms of strength and muscle is that they do that too quickly. So for me, I'm using about 10% of my normal caloric intake, or I'm using 90% of it. I'm subtracting 10%, and instead of eating my normal 4,000 calories, which is kind of maintenance, that's what I recomposition on that, so I can actually build muscle fairly well in that and lose fat and kind of just stay at about the same weight. I don't make these tremendous gains where you see guys eating way over their caloric maintenance. So they end up getting bigger and stronger much quicker, but they add a little more fat. And I don't really lose a lot of fat, considerable amounts of fat. You guys just saw my pictures. I'm not shredded lean. But honestly, I like the way I look. I think I look pretty good. I'm happy with it. When I walk around my town and when people see me in public, they think, well, this guy's a big guy. They ask, do you do something? Are you like a bodybuilder or something? And sometimes I just say yes to that because, it's easier than being like, well, no, I do strength sports, which is different than bodybuilding. You start getting into stuff like that, you just sound like a douchebag. So I try not to sound like a douchebag as much as possible. There's benefits to kind of being a little more bigger, a little more rotund. When you have a shirt on, you still look like you lift. A lot of guys, when they cut down and they look shredded lean with their shirts off, they put their shirt on and you don't really look as much like you lift anymore. It's like you have to tell people, like, oh, no, I actually do lift. I go to the gym. So that's not the case for everyone, but that's probably more than likely the case for me if I got really lean. I probably won't actually get that lean, or I don't intend to anyways. I currently weigh 213 pounds, give or take, and I plan on cutting down to below 200, so I'll lose at least 13 pounds, and that's just kind of where I'll stay at. So some of the lifters that I look up to in strength sports, though, is first and foremost is probably Misha Koklayev, or Mikhail Koklayev. They call him Misha for short. But here's some photos of him that you can take a look at. He's not like this shredded, lean guy. He's kind of hold a little bit more fat on him. And that's something that is just, it's kind of inherent of people. The reason I like him so much is because he competes he's an incredible Olympic weightlifter. That's kind of where he got his foundation. That's where he built himself up at. Later, he moved into both powerlifting and strongman, competed at the Arnold Classic Strongman competition, which is one of the heaviest strongman-type competitions that you see in the world. And by that, I mean that they use the heaviest weights. It's more static events where you're standing still, kind of like a powerlifting-type competition. Whereas, and he also did well in like World's Strongest Man. I don't think he ever won World's Strongest Man, but and usually what you see in that is more moving events where you're like carrying a yoke, carrying farmers, loading Atlas stones, for a medley, doing deadlift medleys, and more moving events where there's a little bit more athleticism involved in that. So it would play to strengths with someone like Misha Koklayev. Andrei Milanichev is one of my favorite powerlifters. A few differences between him and I in the way that he takes advantage of certain lifts, so I don't replicate myself after him when I deadlift or anything. He's really into the sumo deadlift, which you can see a picture there of him doing, and I'm just not really that into that. It's not my thing, but he's an incredible powerlifter, one of the best, possibly the best in the world. Not a super shredded guy, not real lean. Kind of same with Mike Tashir, who is another lifter that I enjoy. Mike Tashir is one of the few people that a lot of people will kind of go online and say, this guy is probably drug-free. But I know Brandon Lilly, who openly talks about, he is not a drug-free lifter. He's talked about Mike Tashir and said he's one of the few people I believe when they say that they are drug-free, because he just works his way there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know, other guys that are on lots of gear are saying that they believe it, so maybe it is, I don't know. It doesn't really matter, it's not going to affect what I do. Then you have like the really, some of the vegan guys like strongman Patrick Bobomian. He is a lifter that I looked up to, or that I currently look up to, somebody that I appreciate, competed in both strongman and powerlifting, set some world records as a vegan this past year. In 2014, I think, was when he did the yoke walk, and he did some other stuff before that, but how could I not like that guy? So there's him. I've talked to you guys. I did an interview with Avi Layani. Avi Layani is kind of where we move into the guys that are successful in strength sports that are lean. Avi Layani has the ideal physique that a lot of people are going for. He hovers right around 200 pounds, so he's not enormous, but when you look at him, he looks enormous, and he has the strength to go along with it, and really I think that's the goal for most of us. It's just kind of eating a little more and putting on a little more weight can be a benefit to that. I'm not saying that fat moves weight, because that's not the case. That's not true. It's muscle contraction that moves weight, not fat. But nevertheless, there's him. Dmitry Koklayev is another one of my favorite lifters. Very lean, very good shape. He's an Olympic weightlifter. He's a Russian. I didn't mention some of the other guys' nationalities. I probably should have, but if you keep watching my channel, chances are I'll talk about these guys again because I look up to them. So there's that. But so my plan is to cut down. I just reduced my caloric intake. I've already dropped a little bit of weight. I was up to closer to 215 about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And just by moving down to 3,600 calories, which is almost indistinguishable for me, considering the amount of food that takes, is, it's pretty good. It's just a little bit different. I see maybe I'll probably continue making good strength gains for a little while before that starts to negatively impact my training in any ways. Hopefully it may never impact my training, but chances are it probably will. I make really good strength gains when I'm in a caloric surplus. So that's it for today, guys. You take it easy. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the update and the info. And I'll talk to you next time. Later.